Hey y'all, it's me, Kendra T, the SLP. So on my Instagram page, I have been talking about how important it is to manage student attention and behaviors to get their compliance and therefore have a productive speech therapy, to get their compliance up and have a productive speech therapy session. And more specifically for teletherapy, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, what are some ways to keep students engaged? How can I keep their attention? The kids running around. And of course, when you're on the side of the computer, there's not much you can do about it. But when we think about it in reality, when a kid is running around there in person in face-to-face therapy, there's not much you can do about it, right? What you gonna do? Grab a kid up? You can't do that. So these are some tips that I use regularly to manage my students' attention and behavior in teletherapy. Virtual learning anywhere. See, I say that anywhere you can do this. All right, tip one, use a work break schedule with each student. So when I say work, I mean the time period of practicing goals. And when I say break, I mean the period of free time that you use as a reward for working. Give the work goals and then the break activity. And so what I mean by that is, for example, hey student, today we're going to do 10 rounds of sound a syllable practice pictures. Well, excuse me. Today we're going to do 10 rounds of the k, k sound in words. And then you get an activity break. And then we'll do more work where we're going to practice 5 rounds of words and then another practice break if we still have time left. And what I will ask some students beforehand is, all right, so we're going to do 10 rounds of k, k, k sound in words and then your activity break. What do you want to do for your break today? And that way I can have it queued up and ready, and it gets them already thinking about that break. And, we have a productive first round of practice. So some break ideas. Some break ideas are YouTube videos, a dance challenge, turn in a game. Turn in a game. What do I mean by that? They get to choose another speech therapy activity. They get an exercise challenge. Some kids love to exercise and they really need to move around. 5 air fist bumps. Here we go. Pow, bow, 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 bow. Silly bloopers. And what I mean by that is sometimes the kids love to see you hurt yourself, right? Pop yourself. Sometimes when we do the fist bump and they're fist bumping me, I remind them, fist bump into the camera, because a lot of times they'll go to the screen where they see you, the video of you, and they'll go that like here. But when they get to the camera, I go, oh man, that was too hard. Come on now. So that's an example of a silly blooper. Or I'll do a rubber band thing where I'm like practicing flinging it and I'll pop myself with it. They laugh. They love to see us hurt ourselves. I don't remember what I meant by turn in a game. I guess if we play a game, then they get to take their turn in the game. Something like that. But I rarely play games. And I'll tell you why later. All right, so give 2 options in the break activity. So for your break today, student, do you want to do a dance challenge or do you want to watch a YouTube video? One of the main things I try to suggest that they choose for a break activity, and therefore what I try to offer them, are things that have movement, because the kids really do need to move around and bounce and get some things out. And there's lots of research that shows that movement helps them to process and learn better. Tip number 2, set a timer for the end of the session. Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't advance it here. There we go. Set a timer for the end of the session. Set it for 2 minutes less than the mandated time. If your session time is 15 minutes, then set the timer for 13 minutes. And what I do is I tell the student, all right, the timer is set. Remember, when the timer goes off, that means we are almost done with speech. We start wrapping up and we're done. That way I'm conditioning them to hear the timer and think the end is near, but not conditioning them to hear the timer and think, all right, we're done, bye. Because of course I got to give them their strategies and their reminders and do a quick session recap. Tip number 3, restructure your session time to do brief times and work periods. Brief time ranges don't hold the students hostage. I feel like there's this traditional thinking with speech therapy that we have to have 30-minute sessions in order for it to be productive and effective. And that's just not true. I have found that restructuring student time to brief sessions has been more productive and more effective. So much so that I created a program of brief sessions, brief student sessions that I am working on to teach other SLPs for school therapy, because it really is effective and efficient and productive. And this is the reason why I don't really play games and have time for games. When you have games, you have to do, back and forth or rounds or whatever. And other than that break in the middle of my session, I don't really have time for that. And let me also say, the work break scheduling works really well for my students who have attention, like more severe or significant attention needs. But I don't even use this for all of my students, simply because I have them all on brief session times and it works within their attention. Like, that's the point of the brief session time, is to work within their attention. So therefore, I don't have much of a need to break it up for their attention to get them to do their work in their practice. I mainly use this for the students who really do have more needs. For example, I use a brief session time. Well, for the student who has more speech and language needs, then I double up on their time. So it is a longer amount of time, but it's still brief, or more brief than the traditional 30 minutes. And even that brief time, they still need support and structure in order to get some work out of them. So I found that since I put this student on they're on a brief session time already, but when I put them on the work break schedule during that time, I've gotten so much more out of them. I tell them ahead of time, like I've told you here with these tips, I tell them ahead of time at the beginning of the session what we're going to do today. I ask them, what break activity do you want to do? And we do just that. If I say we're doing 10 rounds of this, we do just 10 rounds of this, and then it's time for a break. And I am getting so much more progress with them because I've gotten their attention and their compliance in order, so that we can actually make some progress on the speech and the language, which is what they're here for, right? All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. I wanted to try somewhat of a different video delivery style with this slideshow. So in the comments, let me know what you think. I have more graphics and more text and less of me. I'm in a small little corner here, I know. But let me know what you think in the comments. And also, I have a survey in my comments that, not a survey, I'm sorry. I have a link to my email sign up. I'm trying to build a community of speech pathologists, school speech pathologists who like to and want to work as efficiently and productively as possible. I feel like I'm a super productive and efficient worker, and managing my caseload and my workload. So I want to help others with that. Find me on social media here. My handles at Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, and Clubhouse. I didn't put Clubhouse on there because it's not exactly a social connection site, but they're all the same, at Kendra T Allison. And then on Facebook is at Kendra T the SLP. Thanks a lot, and I hope that you got at least one thing helpful here. If at least one thing was helpful, please like and subscribe and share. And then, like I said, do my email sign up. I promise I will not spam you hard with emails. Thanks, y'all. Hello, koala.